Hello, my friend. Welcome to live chat. Woo, okay, so before this week, I didn't know that this was going to be a topic that we would be discussing, but it's really starting to freak me out, and I wanted to be freaked out with you. No, but mostly I just wanted to have a conversation about it because I am one who in the past have clicked on terms and conditions and been like, "I agree," and move on without reading the terms and conditions. I feel like a lot of us have done that. If you are really good at that and you have read all of the terms and conditions that you have ever signed and you have looked through it and made sure that everything is good every time you've ever checked one, I'm amazed by you, and I think that you are incredible. I would say that's a no for me. There's been many times that I've seen the terms and conditions and just checked the box and moved on with my life. Unfortunately, our laws here in the US are not keeping up with AI and the clauses that are being put in these contracts as we use AI throughout our lives. And I wanted to talk about that today because I don't know how long it will take for the US government and governments around the world to start putting guardrails up in place for these companies. And before they do, we can't say that we know that we don't know if they ever will. Like, there's no guarantee that wherever you live, that your country is going to protect you from these brands using predatory practices. And I want to talk about that and some things that we may need to look out for in these contracts, and some tools we can use that are not AI to help us find these things in contracts without having to read the entire thing and understand legalese. Now, I am not a lawyer. This is so important. I am not a lawyer. I am not legally trained. These are things I've just learned on my own. So it's really important to get actual real legal advice from an actual real lawyer. But there are words that we can identify as lay people as red flags to look into more. That's all we're going to do today. I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just saying, if you see this in a contract, make sure your eyes perk up and your brain goes, "Oh, that may be bad." And how to find those things easily and quickly in a contract. So yeah, I mean, I think that the days of us just blindly clicking are over, and we really need to be watching out for this. And this is not to scare you, it is to make you aware so that you can make the best decision for you possible, because we know we've been through this. Brands do not care about us on the whole. Of course, there may be some small indie brands, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to get into all the nuance, but on the whole, a brand's existence is to make money. And if they throw you under the bus, or if they use you in a weird way, or your data or your face in a way that is, I would judge as unethical, that's not their problem if you sign the contract. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Just some things to look out for. And I'm sure there are people that are in the chat that know a lot about this. And that's why I wanted to make it a live chat, because I feel like as a collective, we'll be able to add more into this topic than I could on my own. And with that being said, I do want to quickly say hello to some of the people that are here live in the collective brain of makeup awesomeness. They're going to help us with this conversation today so we can all collectively freak out together. Teresa, our lovely moderator, hello, welcome to live chat. I hope you all are doing well today. Cloudy and rain forecast is for North Dakota today. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope you have a good day anyway. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Thank you to the rest of the moderator team, Flory and Steph and Audra. You all are amazing. Thank you for being here. Cynthia, good morning. Hailing from Massachusetts today. Oh, okay. Visiting my child and grandchild and son-in-law. It's so beautiful here. Oh, my goodness. Well, I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. Tracy, good morning. Happy Sunday, all. And Jen, congrats on your big announcement. Thank you so much. I have some big developments going up on my Gen X channel. It's if you search for Gen X doing things, that is where you will find my moving to Canada vlog that I have started. The third episode is going up today. They're very short videos. Today's video is only 7.5 minutes, and they're just little short updates on what's going on with my family. If you want to see that, that does exist. So thank you. We are in the process of moving to it's so weird to say it out loud, to not Victoria, but Vancouver Island, British Columbia, in the suburbs of Victoria. So yeah, this was a big week. This was a very big week, a big roller coaster week. So go check that out if you were interested in that. And thank you, Tracy, for the congratulations. Shar, good morning in Wisconsin. Good morning to Stephanie in St. Paul, Minnesota. Julie, good morning. Rare Sunday. Also, I get to chat. Yay. Happy to have you back. Blessings to the collective brain. Thank you so much. Ginger, good morning. Good morning, Alana, also in Massachusetts. Cynthia's talking to Alana. Ms. Lavender, good morning to you. Happy Sunday. Kirsten, good morning to Jen, all from Upper Michigan, from Michigan's Upper and Best Peninsula. Fall colors are nearing peak and gorgeous. We have not gotten all the fall colors yet. We are starting to get the fall colors. We will be in full fall colors probably next week, or the week after is when it's really going to hit. Probably next week. This week, yeah, next week it's really going to start changing. Good morning, Gabrielle, and good morning to Daniel. Good morning to Inez and Melissa. And if I did not say good morning to you, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Vital Love says, hey, Jen, I hate AI. I'm getting ready to make the move off the internet in my personal time for good. Good for you. I think that's fantastic. Good for you. I think the big pull of AI, at least for me, and I don't know if it is for you, is that some of the stuff is really cool. It's kind of like when we went from having CD changers. I could say I went from having a CD changer in my car. So in my trunk, I had 6 CDs that I could put in, and then my car, I could push a button and I could change the CD. And that was really cool, to my iPod that had all the music on it, to having an iPhone and all the advancements in the iPhone. It's just really cool technology. It's just really cool and really neat. And you want to see these things. You see other people using it. I'm talking about me. I'll tell me. I see other people using it, like when the photo things first started coming out, where they could generate your photo and make it look really cool. I was using those things. It's like, some of it is just really cool. So it's hard to just be like, no, I'm not going to use that, especially when you see other people using it. But the problem is these contracts are so scary. And I want to thank Miranda over at Slash Beauty. I've met Miranda through Creators and Friends. She started bringing this to creators' attention back in July. We talked about it in What's Up in Makeup today, about how brands are looking to use influencers using AI. And if you sign the contract, they own your likeness forever. Whatever you give them, they can use it however they want forever, as long as they can generate it from that piece that you shared and submitted. Like, they can't just start taking your face from other places, but anything you share with them, they can then use. Not only, this is an influencer case, not only can they take your face as an influencer if you submit it and you use it, they can use it in AI any way that they want. You also grant them a worldwide license. Not only that, you also grant them the ability to sell what you've given them worldwide. And then they can use it any way they want in AI, in perpetuity. That's the first word we need to look at when we look at contracts. If you all know this stuff, I'm like, that's fabulous. I'm sure there are a lot of people that already know that word, but there may be people that don't. Perpetuity means forever. So whenever it says in perpetuity, it's forever. If you sign it, like 1,000-year contracts, million-year contracts, whatever. So that's really, really important and very scary. And what Miranda had said in her video was all it was a checkbox. I agree to the additional terms and conditions. Check. But she clicked. She looked at the terms of service because she's been doing this 12 years. And that's what she found. And she was like, oh, hell no. So it's really scary, and it goes beyond influencers. It goes to those AI tools. There's a lot of lawsuits. If you look up class action lawsuits, there's a lot of lawsuits for those AI tools, the ones that let you try on hair colors or hairstyles, the lipsticks and makeup and all of that. There are rules in place, at least in the US, that protect us some from those things. But that doesn't mean that countries outside the US can't do that and like go around US laws, at least to my understanding. I don't know if US laws protect us outside the US. I don't think that they do. So I want to show you some examples today. Before I do, I want to just kind of talk to you all and see what y'all are thinking. Vital Love says, but humans are not responsible enough to keep a balance between respecting tech and then using it against humans for power. Absolutely, 100%. Kimmy, the only AI I've used is to create a background for my phone. See, it's like one of those things where like there is some people would say a moral implication of that because it's stealing from artists in order to create that background for your phone. But that's different than what we're talking about today. That's a whole nother layer of it. And I'm not going to say that I have not done in the past similar things. Like when I was talking about those photo AIs that I was playing with, where it took your face and it made your face like you could be like an astronaut or whatever, or they made you look like extra whatever, extra pretty or extra smoothed out or color lighting or whatever. So I've used that stuff too. So I'm definitely not shaming anybody for using them. But there is a moral, thing, a component that people bring up when it comes to that stuff. But I will tell you, I've done it in the past too. So of all the things, you have to decide, where your personal line is. Yeah. Little Birdie told me, says, I'm in education. It's a big issue in the classroom. I can only imagine like what students are using in the classroom as far as like completing their work, using AI. I know there are some tools that school systems will use in order to try to help spot AI, but of course it's not foolproof. So Stephanie says, I'm pretty grateful. I also read the terms and conditions when ChatGPT first came out, and it horrified me enough to opt out. Yeah. Pink Expression, using AI is a slippery slope with no guardrails. And that's the problem. And that was kind of what Miranda was talking about, is that a lot, the Screen Actors Guild was talking about how they fought against these AI clauses that were in their contracts because it was giving like ways to use actors without them actually being a part of the project. So it's like, I can see why editors may want to use AI for specific things, like so that they don't have to reshoot things. They could save so much money if they don't have to reshoot something, if they can just fix it in AI. Those contracts, man, like some of them were really scary for those actors. So they fought, and I believe they did win that AI clause thing. I think that was the strike from last year, if I remember correctly. But there's no protection for influencers. We don't have a union. There's no union for us to protect us. So we really need to look out for ourselves. And there's no union for customers. Abby says, brands coercing people to sign off on their physical likeness via a checkbox. That's terrifying. Fine print is not for hiding lifetime agreements. Wow. Yes. And I will show you one in just a minute. Hi, Anna. Anna says, I can't count the number of times I have had a conference with students about plagiarism. Yeah, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Julie says, critical thinking skills in the US are not a priority, unfortunately. We mostly don't teach it until college. And I think that there definitely are school systems that are teaching it now. There are teachers that are teaching it now, but I don't know. It depends on the school system, how much it's fit into the curriculum. So in order for it to be taught, critical thinking skills, a lot of that stuff, when I was a teacher, I added that in to the curriculum. I put that in myself when we had, English lessons and things like that. Like I remember I was teaching a special ed class back when I first started teaching. We were talking about Columbus Day, and I remember just going off the rails about critical thinking and about looking at, Christopher Columbus and talking about how, our country has glorified Christopher Columbus. This is probably 2014, maybe. No, it was before that. It was before that. It was like 2007. It's like 2007. This is before AI. Just talking about critical thinking and how, you have to think about things beyond what people tell you. And, we're told, the pilgrims and, all this stuff. And I was like, but what happened to the people that were here when all of the people came? What happened to people that were already living there? Let's talk about that. Let's think about this a little deeper. But I added that in. That wasn't in the curriculum. I might have been able to get in trouble for that because, but yeah, I mean, I do think some teachers go the extra mile and really try to teach critical thinking skills, but not everybody does. And I don't know how many curriculums it actually is in at this point. Abby says AI is causing issues in the education system to become so much worse. We already struggle with schools encouraging kids to simply pass their classes, not to learn from them. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Melissa says it worries me for senior citizens. They won't know what AI is. Definitely. Oh my gosh. And I have seen this online on threads with celebrities, with people that are like, should know better. And they're not even senior citizens. They're like my age and maybe a little bit older, reposting things that are AI and being like, oh my gosh, this is blah, 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 blah. Like, dude, like that's clearly AI, but people aren't looking out for it. And it's scary. And I think that's what I wanted to do with this chat is really, go into AI and things to look out for. So one thing I wanted to mention as far as these contracts, we are not trained. Legalese is very difficult. And we can't hire a lawyer to look at every single online contract we want to sign. So what I do on my Mac, and I'm sure there's an equivalent on a PC, is Control F, which is for find. And I look for words like in perpetuity, words like irrevocable, worldwide. You'll start seeing patterns in these words, and you can even Google what are some words in contracts that are red flag words. There's lots of research you can do into words for your particular situation. So you can do like a find in the document and type in the word you're looking for and then find just that line. And the more you do that, the more you look at these contracts, the more you're going to start seeing patterns. And you're going to understand what those clauses mean better. It's like learning another language. The more you do it, the more you look at it, the more you recognize it, and the easier it becomes, especially when you know what to look for. And you're going to figure all of that out if you look at it. That's how I taught myself all this stuff, right? So it was all about, like, when I was teaching myself legalese in order to do law things, when I got to a line I didn't understand, I would just Google the definition of the words. Like it took a long time because, again, it's learning another language, but you can learn it. So, because it really is, it's just learning the definition of the word and what it means, and then plugging that in like any other language. So I wanted to show you, I found this, because this is a customer facing one. Share screen, and we're going to share this one. I just randomly found this through a Google search. And we're going to talk about this. Okay, so what this is this is what I think this is it's a skincare advisor that shops for you. So what you do is what you seem to be able to do. I didn't look real deep into this website, so I could be wrong on the details about this particular website. This is what I'm seeing on its face, but because I didn't dig super deep, I'm just going by what it says, and I'm gonna start making some assumptions about what it means. All right. So it says powering personalized skincare experiences with AI skin analysis solutions. So this looks really cool. You put your picture in there and then it tells you how much redness you have, like what your pore score is or whatever. And it helps beauty brands to deliver hyper personalized digital experiences and accelerate product innovation at scale. So what I'm thinking this means is that customers will upload their photos and then based on that photo, it will recommend, if a brand hires this company, it will recommend products from their line for whatever shows up. So this woman is shown to have large pores, I guess. 91, I would imagine. I don't know. I don't see any large pores, but let's just say she has large pores. Maybe they might recommend a BHA chemical exfoliant. For hyperpigmentation, they may talk about like a, or for like a, what you call it? My brain just glitched. For dryness, they may recommend hyaluronic acid, things like that. My brain's glitching. So this is the tool they're selling. And they have all these different companies underneath that have used it. So here's the skin analysis. What they're saying brands can also do with this data is they can look and see what problems their customers are currently having and then develop products around the concerns, directly develop products around the concerns that the customers are having, aggregating that data. So it delivers the personalized skincare experience. There's a bot chat, an AI chat to help customers to develop skincare routines. Then Skin GPT. This is another one. Create lifelike virtual skincare try-ons. So this is what your skin looks like now, but if you use our product, this is what it'll look like after however much time you use the product, which is scary for skincare because people are in so many different situations. There's no guarantee of that. So that I feel like is real sketch. Bring product claims to life with science-backed visuals. This is what is likely to happen, but they don't know. Everybody lives in a different climate. Everybody has different genetics. Everybody has different, frequencies of use. How much are they using? There's so many variables. So then there's pricing in the media. There's a blog, which is probably AI generated. Okay. So if you go all the way down to the bottom, you finally get down to the terms and conditions down here. You also see the location is Estonia, over by Russia, right west of Russia. Terms and conditions, way down here, privacy notice terms and conditions. Click that. If we scroll all the way down here, we get to intellectual property rights. Okay. So any upgrade of the software and all additions and corrections and improvements. Let's see. Hold on, that's not it. Hold on. Here, right here is one. You indemnify, defend, and hold us harmless from and against all claims, liabilities, expenses arising out of your use of the platform. So anything that happens, they're not responsible. They can change the terms at any time. Where was the privacy one? Intellectual property rights. Okay, let's just read through it. All intellectual property rights to the components of the platform, any upgrade of the software, and all additions, corrections, and improvements therein, so anything that they change, in addition to other proprietary software made available by us to you, will at all times remain the property, here it is, remain the property of us and or the licensor who has granted us the respective license. So this is what I'm understanding, again, not a lawyer, so please take this with a grain of salt. This to me says that if you or your clients, if I'm Lethal Cosmetics and I hire them, this company, Haute AI, not only owns anything I put in, but anything my customers put in. So my contract on my website has to say that Haute AI also owns anything that they upload. And they can use such intellectual property rights. The intellectual property rights of software developments done by us for you will remain with us. So, in addition to that, anything that me as a brand gather from my customers stays with Haute AI. It is now owned by this company in Estonia, which I imagine does not follow laws outside of Estonia. That's the scary part. It's not about the country or which country it is. It's about the fact that they don't have to abide by any country's, at least this is what it seems like. They don't have to abide by any country's laws outside of that country because it's theirs. Personal data. You undertake to comply with all applicable personal data protection legislation. You can upload on the platform images you have lawfully acquired to be used by the platform. Okay, so that seems pretty standard. Like you can't take something that you don't own and upload it to the platform, right? But really, this right here, the intellectual property rights, is to me scary. That's scary to me. Yeah, you use the platform entirely at your own risk, for which we shall not be liable. Let's see. You hereby represent and warrant that all images has been obtained lawfully. Okay, that's fine. At least in my opinion, as a non-lawyer. So you get kind of what I'm saying with this. This is just an example of a contract that you may not even be aware of because maybe you're on the Lancome website, maybe you're on the Sephora website, maybe you're on a beauty brand, any beauty brand's website, and they're using this software. You may be giving this company in Estonia your face. So it's just something to keep an eye out for, is looking for other brands. Like when you're reading through the contract, are they giving rights to another brand? It's a lot. And the easiest way to not have to do any of this work is just not to use the tools. And I know that's really sad because the tools sometimes are really cool. But if this is the risk and you don't have the time or the energy to look into it, it might be better just not to use the tool. You know what I'm saying? It's scary. Let's see what you all are saying. Oh, was I not sharing the screen I was reading? Oh no, I'm so sorry. I thought it was showing it. Really? Oh no, I'm so sorry. Okay. Y'all told me, oh my gosh. Okay, let me just show you what I was reading. Let me go back. I'm so sorry, you guys. Why did it not? It didn't open in a new window. I am so sorry, you guys. There it is. Okay, I'm so sorry. Thanks. That's what I get for having the window closed. Okay, so here. Let me just show you again. Okay. I was highlighting it and everything for you. Here's you use the platform entirely at your own risk, for which we shall not be liable. Here we go. This one right here. This is a good one. Not a good one. This is a really bad one. You grant us the right to use, reproduce, modify, and distribute, upload data and images as necessary or appropriate to transmit, store, encrypt, calculate, and anonymize, so make anonymous, and analyze the uploaded data and images and create and distribute the skin metrics reports. We shall own all anonymized data, including any images, calculations, functions, features, or any other modifications of the data and images uploaded by you to our platform. So anonymizing, meaning of course to make anonymous. So they can take they can use the data that, let's say this is Lancome, right? And you do the skin analyzer in Lancome. They can take the data that Lancome collects and they can use it for their own purposes. So if they have enough brands using their this is what I'm understanding. Thank you all so much for telling me you couldn't see it. I'm so sorry for that. Let's say there's 5 different brands using this tech. according to this, what I'm reading is that they can take and aggregate all the data from those 5 brands and then sell it, which is really business wise. Can you imagine how much that would be worth to have data from hundreds of thousands of users across a bunch of different beauty brands and then be able to sell that to a company to use in their product development and marketing? That's really smart. Also, the images that they can transmit, store, encrypt, calculate, anonymize, anything that you upload to this other website, to the brand's website. That's what I'm reading. Okay. You are responsible for maintaining the security of the account and password. We cannot and will not be liable for any loss or damage if you fail to comply with this obligation. So I guess that's kind of relatively normal. If you don't secure your account password, they're not liable for it. That kind of makes sense. See, there's so much in here. There's so much in here. Here's the intellectual property rights section that they can, it says any upgrade to the software and additions and corrections, improvements, and any other proprietary software made available by us to you will at all times remain the property of us and the licensor who has granted us the respective license for the use of intellectual property rights. So if they make a software for a company, they still own that software. The intellectual property rights in all software developments done by us for you will remain with us. Okay, that kind of makes sense though. If they make something for you, then they still own it. Okay. But anyway, this is all the stuff. You can go over and look and see the rest of it. The company is called HAUT.ai. But you could see where I found that all the way down at the bottom, terms and conditions. Okay. Thank you for being patient with me at that. And they can change the terms at any time without notifying you. So too much potential ownership. I agree. Overanalyst says, to be fair, Estonia is in the EU, which has more consumer protections than the US. But no, we should not trust those companies because wherever they sell our data to, right? Exactly. And I don't know what the rules are in Estonia. Like, I don't know. But depending on where you live, if you don't live in the EU, then it's going to be different from where you do live. So I don't know. And things always change. So you don't you see what I'm saying? So that's great that at least they're under EU rules, so it's not like, but still. All right, let me scroll down a bit. What? Steph has a new username? What? Where's Steph? Hold on a minute. Oh yeah, the same username. But I do like the glasses. They are new glasses. Hi, Steph. Good to see you. Steph's one of our lovely moderators. Okay, let's take a little bit of a break. And then I want to go into the popular pays one that Miranda was talking about, because this is scary for creators. But also, if you in any way use the creator marketplace, if you use creators as a guide rail for a guide for purchasing, this is something to keep in mind. So let me just tell you real quick what's on my face. I feel like my brain is at like 70% power. Okay. So I am using, this is, I think everything I'm going to show you today, except for one thing, two things, is PR. So this is the Nomad Pacific Northwest palette, which is absolutely beautiful. I've been playing with this quite a bit. It is very green. So if you don't like the green, this is probably going to be a pass for you. These shades over here are the ones that are a little more like marine looking. If you don't like marine looking looks, you probably want to stay away from this one. It's beautiful. I personally love colors like that. So I had fun today with the shade Sunbreak, which is all, wait, no, what did I use? Coffee Paradise? What did I use? I can't remember what I used. My brain is glitching so hard. Oh, I use Salmon Run. Salmon Run all over my lid, and then in the crease, I use PNW. And that's pretty much all I did today. And I love it. Pacific Northwest has my heart. We spent all that time in Seattle. So I loved Seattle. That was fun. Blush Day's purchase. This is the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush. If you're looking for a low cost, fantastic blush, if these are still available, which I hope that they are, these are phenomenal. On my lips today, I use the ColourPop New Moon lip liner. And this is in something about muscles. I read it earlier and I was like, I need to memorize this for later. I can't read it now. Something about muscles. I forget. But it's the lip liner from the ColourPop New Moon collection. And then I used that. And this was purchased through a through a mystery box, a holiday advent calendar. This is the La Mer lip gloss. And it is very overpriced, but I do like it. And I never would purchase this outside of that the advent calendar, but I'm very thankful to have it and I do like it a lot. And then also I wanted to share my eyeliner today. This is from the Lethal Cosmetics, the Conjuring collection. This is the black eyeliner. It is a marker tip, but I really like it a lot. Usually I like brush tips, but this one is really good. It doesn't seep into my fine lines. It's very easy to use. It's a very sharp point, so it gives you a nice flick. It's very nice. And then also on the backs of these with the Conjuring collection, they have little stamps. So this one is a cross. And it's very cute if you want to put a little cross on your eye or wherever you want to put a little cross. Very cute. There's also other ones. There is a like purpley color and then a brown color as well. So that is what's on my face today that I wanted to share. All right. Let me see. Allison, off topic, but why do you not age, Jen? I don't know. I feel like I am. I look in the mirror some days. Makeup, genetics, skincare, including sunscreen. I've been using that shark mask that I did the review of, and I think it's helping to make my skin aging go a little slower. I do. I bought that. That I purchased. I had a couple of companies reach out to me to review their LED masks after that, but I like my shark one. Like, why would I mess with perfection? Mons wanted to know any updates on Raw Beauty Christy. I do not keep up with Christy anymore. But I did talk to Samantha Ravndal a little bit. Y'all went over and you told her about me moving to Vancouver Island. And she and I have been chatting a little bit about that. She does not live on Vancouver Island, but she does live near there. So in that general vicinity. So we've been chatting a little bit, which I'm very excited. And I actually met Samantha through Christy when Christy and I used to be acquaintances, on the edge of friends, but more acquaintances. So that has been nice to talk to Samantha because I've been looking up to Samantha Ravndal forever. Forever, not just for her talent and for her wit, but also just her general ability to see through bullshit and her ability to she's just really very smart, and I love that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't keep up with Christy anymore. Unfortunately, that ship has sailed, and I don't think that she's sad about that with me either. So it works out. The Conjuring collection, is it uber spooky? I talk about it in What's Up in Makeup today, but let me show you the palette. This palette is so cool. Check this out. Ready? Ready for it? Watch for it. Watch for it. Wait. The lenticular motion. Are you serious right now? So look, so it's the words and also down in the corner over here. See that little shadow and the noose just show up. Super creepy. Super creepy. I've never seen The Conjuring. I don't know anything about it. So yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you, Mons. Mons says, I also agree that Jen looks as young as she ever did a decade ago when I started watching her. Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. I do my best. Even though aging is not something to be ashamed of, we all are going to age. We're all going to get wrinkles, and it's okay. All right. So let's talk about Popular Pays. And let me do this correctly. What is happening? Okay. We're going to switch that and we're going to go remove that. What is happening? Stop that. Okay. And we're going to go over to share screen and we're going to go this one. Okay. This is the one Miranda was talking about. That had a little checkbox that she had to, hold on a second. Let me get my screens right. Close that one. Pull this one out so that I can see you. Because I want to see you. Okay. All right, we're in better shape. Ooh, the chat gets really big when I do that. I love that. Okay. So this is the top. This is what it looks like. Okay, one thing you need to know as context is that there are a lot of these companies like Popular Pays where their whole thing is that they connect influencers and brands. It's like think of it like a matchmaking service. So I'm a brand and I want to work with influencers. Or I'm an influencer and I want to work with brands. So when you sign up for something like Popular Pays, they then have your information in a database. And when a brand says, I have this campaign, I'm looking for creators age 25 to 35 who have large Instagram followings with an engagement rate of XYZ that live in the US, then these companies can then go through their database and they will find influencers for the brand. You can see where this is great for brands because they don't have to do any of the legwork to find these influencers. The companies already have them in a database. Then Popular Pays reaches out and says, and they handle everything. So companies they'll handle the contracts, they'll handle figuring out the payment, they'll go over, like when I submit things to one of these companies, I've never worked with Popular Pays, but for a different company, when I do sponsorships, I have to submit it to them a few days before the video goes live. I usually submit it to them on Tuesdays when the videos go live on Sunday. So and I submit it to the company, to the aggregator, to this matchmaker, and then they send it over to the brand. They get the feedback from the brand, and then they translate that to me. Jen, you need to add, something on the screen that says blah blah blah, whatever, or make sure you have your link on the screen, or make sure you do a pinned post or whatever it may be. They tell me everything from the brand. So there's no communication between me and the brand. It's all through this matchmaking company, right? So you can see where this is beneficial for both the creator and the brand. Also, when I've used these matchmaking companies, payment has always been really easy. They make it really easy to pay for, to get paid. Where before, sometimes brands, it was kind of inconsistent as far as like the payment and the different ways that things were done. But now that it's getting more streamlined through these matchmaking companies, I'm just going to call them that, it's been so much easier. But where this is coming in with Popular Pays is that they're using AI as part of what they're pitching to brands, which is different. That's where things are different. Sarah says, I'm proud of my smile lines. It means I smile a lot and I'm okay with that. Yes, Sarah, I love that. I love that so much. And thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Also, we have Myrna as a new member. Thank you so much. And also Ellie is a new member of the Collective Brain. Thank you so, so much. Hi, Gigi. Okay. So, all right. I'm just reading the comments, make sure we're good. Okay, so let's talk about Popular Pays. Now, this is again a brand I've never worked with. I am not a lawyer. I do not take anything I'm saying as fact. This is just my opinion and also what I'm reading as a non-lawyer as far as what all of this means. So please take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. All right, so this is what I talked about in today's What's Up in Makeup, this is what they pitched to Miranda, that they were saying that if she signs away her rights if she clicks this checkbox, then they will be able to use her face to alter her content. So if she, let's say, did a thing for La Mer, right? And she reviewed this lip gloss and they wanted to repurpose, let's say she created it for Instagram and they wanted to put it on YouTube or in a mainstream commercial. They could then figure out a way to they could resize it. so that it was bigger or smaller or whatever for whatever platforms. So that seems relatively harmless. Resizing, nobody cares. That's why they told, in my opinion, they told Miranda that. Also, what they could do is, according to what I'm reading here, is that they can boost your creator-led campaigns or rework influencer content for new markets effortlessly in minutes. So if I review a lip gloss, does that mean that they can change that to then me reviewing an eyeshadow? Can they use my positive review of the lip gloss to then show me positively reviewing an eyeshadow? I don't know. Maybe, right? Rework influencer content for new markets. Let's say they want to use me for a US market. Maybe they now want to use me for a market in the EU. So now they change my accent so that my accent fits whatever country. Maybe they give me an Irish accent. Ireland's part of the EU, right? I get confused. I'm so sorry. I need to educate myself and commit that to long-term memory. Short-term memory, I'm good. Long-term memory, I forget. Anyway, that's what that sounds like that means. So what if that goes to the point of, what if they want to change my skin tone? Could they do that? Rework influencer content for new markets. Could they make me black? Without my permission. My voice, change my skin tone because it's a new market. That's freaking, I just thought of that. That is terrifying. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Yes, in the EU question, thank you. I thought so. So anyway, we go down to all this stuff, right? All the way down at the bottom. And we finally get down to terms and conditions. Way the freak down there. Okay, now I know I need to share this window with you. Ha ha ha. Let's zoom it in. This is too small. Okay. And let's make this a little bigger. Okay. If we go to, I think it's section 9. Look how massive this contract is. Look how massive this is. Intellectual property rights. Okay. Provider is and shall be the sole and executive owner of all right, title, and interest, including without limitation all intellectual property rights to the platform, provider materials, provider marks, providers' confidential information, and feedback. Usage statistics, any and all improvements, derivative works, and or modifications of to any of the foregoing, regardless of inventorship and or authorship. They have the exclusive rights. You, as the person who submits your stuff to this platform, have zero rights. They own it. It is theirs to do with whatever they want, right? Consent to user data. Where is it? Sorry, I'm finding it. Where is it? Reading legalese fast is hard to find. Okay. To collect and hold and manage your customer data through the provider's authorized third-party providers is reasonable for business purposes, which may be located in a country that does not have the same data protection laws as the data subject's jurisdiction. So that's also saying about them being in Estonia, they're going to be working with people outside of Estonia. Additionally, if through the platform the customer chooses to connect their ads manager account from social media providers and it lists all the social media providers, customers gives permission to the provider to use third-party API or SDK on approved creator content that is exported via the platform's customer ad manager account. So if you upload content to all of those platforms, they also own it? Is that what they're saying? Oh, you give them permission to use anything you upload anywhere. And to collect and analyze data that comes from that use. To disclose such data solely in aggregate or other de-identified form in connection with the business. Okay. Provider may also collect anonymized performance data. So you're giving them a lot of power. What Miranda, let me go over to Miranda. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to play you Miranda's clip because I want you to see. I want you to see this because I did play it for What's Up in Makeup, but I want you to hear this because this just blew my mind right here. Let's just watch it.
Check for AI clauses in your contracts for brand collabs. This morning, I got an offer to create UGC for a major hair care brand through a brand collab platform that I had used in the past, but not in a while. Now, I was going through the brief. I noticed that the brand hadn't actually outlined a term for how long they wanted to use the content for, which is pretty standard. So I was doing some digging under that little checkbox at the end where it's like, I also accept these terms and conditions if I participate in this collab. Not only were they wanting rights to use my content forever in perpetuity, is how they put it in a contract, but checking yes also gave them the right to use my content in any generative AI tools for any AI use in perpetuity, forever. When I pushed back on this, I was told that this was becoming increasingly common in today's world and that their intent with their new AI technology would be for uses like resizing a video automatically or auto dubbing your video into a different language. However, the contract said any AI tools for any use forever. I mean, think about how far generative AI has come in the past year and think about where it's going in the next year or 2 years or 5 years. And this is exactly what actors and other SAG members were protesting just a few years ago because this potentially cuts you out. You do the one project for them, you get paid once, and then they have the right to generate any other content using AI from that one piece of content forever. But there are so many new creators trying to find their footing on this app and other social media platforms and young ones too. I've been doing this for 12 years. This is not something that we want to normalize. Content creators, please check for AI clauses in your contracts for brand collabs. This morning.
Okay. So okay, let me get back to me because I'm failing at finding this stuff on my own. So let me close that. Okay. It's like I had it before chat and then I lost it. Oh my gosh, there's a super chat here. A couple of super chats. Oh my goodness. Okay. Ellie, thank you so much. I hope all goes well with your visas. Thank you so much. There's a big thing on Gen X doing things that's an update to that. That's going live as soon as chat's over. Where is this one? I need to find Charlie. Where did Charlie go? I lost Charlie. Oh, there's Charlie. Charlie, Jen, I love your channel. It gives me escape while staying human. Wishing you, yours, and your supporters joy, love, and endless bowls of the soup of the day. The tears of your enemies. Oh, Charlie, thank you so much. That is so sweet of you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the very generous super chat. Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, wow. That's huge. Thank you. That is so sweet of you. And thank you for the beautiful message. I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, yeah, now I'm all like, oh, that is so nice. Okay. So anyway, what Miranda was saying, and there is a screenshot up for What's Up in Makeup, is that it's not just it's not just what Miranda was saying. They can also sell it to anybody based on what that screenshot she put on the screen. So it's really important as customers that we are, when we're watching social media content, that we're watching out for those signs of AI before we trust an influencer, because these influencers may be signing away their likeness forever and then have no control over it. And then we could go to that influencer and yell at them and say, hey, I saw that you did this AI content. You're a POS, you're this, you're that. I can't believe you did this AI content, where the influencer genuinely did it by accident because they just checked that checkbox that Miranda saw. So I think we also need to give a little grace to these influencers that may get caught up in this and have this AI generative stuff popping up of them. I mean, think about, like, for years, I remember Tati got hit really hard with this, where companies were taking Tati's videos and they were like, let's say she was doing, applying a fake lash or whatever. They would take Tati's video and they would say that Tati was applying their lash when it was something completely different. It was like Ardell's or something. So Tati was constantly having her lawyer go after those companies that were using her face to advertise their products that she had never tried. So this takes it to a whole different level of beyond that, where I think we all kind of started recognizing that a lot of that stuff was fake. But now with AI, it's going to look like you're going to hear, oh my goodness, I love this new eyelash from Fertibert. Fertibert is the best eyelash company in the entire world, because the names are getting weirder and weirder, right? And you're going to see your favorite influencer, if they sign one of these, saying things like that. And who knows who has signed anything up to this point? It's scary. It's scary, y'all. Yeah, Nymphinia says this is also creepy. Generative AI needs to be banned, to be honest. Yeah, and I think the reason why it hasn't been banned is because it's seen as being so cool. Like, think about it's like all the data collection. It's so useful for companies. There's this big positive to generative AI for depending on who you are. There's a big positive to it. But at the same time, there's this dangerous piece of it. Hi to Yeti. I just want to shout you out real quick. It sounds like y'all are hooking up to Yeti. Thank you so much. Yes, Steph. Support real artists, real creators. Yes. I think honestly, I think that faster, our government needs to jump on this faster. But we're dealing with so much stuff right now. Like, it is wild. Like, I can't even imagine being a member of Congress right now and all the things that are happening. Like, generative AI is just going to go just under the radar because there's so many other things, like, human rights and security and things that are scary. Like, there's a lot of scary stuff that's happening. And this is just one of them. And I can see this not being prioritized by our government. Yes, there are completely AI actresses. There are completely AI musicians. They're completely AI influencers. It's freaking scary, man. Yeah, Steph says, our government doesn't care. I do think, like, I have seen some politicians, I know I've seen Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez talking about this and how it's important to her, but if she's the only one, I do think that there are select people in our government that care, but I think that they're in the vast minority. I think that a lot of lawmakers are really in it for themselves, the lobbyists and all of that. I know, y'all. It's I know, y'all. It's kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess. Yeah. But anyway, this is just more of a warning, and also just wanted to, just give you all just a refresher and a reminder, because sometimes, we think about this stuff and we hear something, but then we kind of forget about it, and something looks so cool that we want to try it. But those contracts really are super important. We've gotten so desensitized to contracts over the years and just clicking that button. And we just can't do that anymore. We can't just click the button anymore. Especially, I mean, even if it doesn't look like it's AI, even if it's just a regular service that you're using online, there could be an AI clause in there, just hidden. So go into the contract and do that find feature, whatever it is, Control F or whatever it is on your computer, and search for those words. Search for AI, artificial intelligence, search for in perpetuity, search for all these words. And if you forget what the words are, Google what the words are. The AI through Google will tell you. Isn't that wild? It's so wild. Let me see if there's anything else in my notes I wanted to say with you. For you with I want to say to you before we wrap up for the day, because it is 11 o'clock. I think I pretty much got everything. I mean, it's like the face scans. Yeah. So, I mean, I think really when it comes down to it, we need to really trust our guts with this. And when our gut says there's something weird about this, there's something scary about this, there's something that doesn't feel right, we need to trust ourselves in that. Yeah, our government does not do anything quickly. Sunscreen rules, perfect example. We're finally getting a new sunscreen. Since 1999, we have not had a new sunscreen filter in this country. We're finally getting one in 2026. One that's approved everywhere else, to my knowledge, most everywhere. Yeah. You know, Kirsten says everything has a price. Sometimes the price is you. That's a great place to end it, Kirsten. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you found this interesting and helpful. I appreciate you all so, so much. And I know that Daddy's talking about being overwhelmed by all this. I know that it's overwhelming. And that's why you're going to shortcut it. When you get a contract, you're going to shortcut it and you're going to figure out what words are important to you in the contract. You can make a little note. You can write it down on a piece of paper that you keep by your computer. You can put it in your notepad in your phone. Any way that works for you. And every time you have to click on agree to terms and condition box, open up those terms and conditions and just do a quick search for those words and filter through and see if they're in there. You can even go to Google and say, what does this mean? And copy and paste the passage and see if it'll tell you. It is overwhelming. It is a lot. You saw that one contract. It was pages and pages and pages, but there is a way to cut through the noise. And that's finding those keywords that are the scary ones. And if you have any question, do not click the box. All right, that's what I got for you today. Thank you so much for being here. Next week is going to be normal for everything. We got What's Up in Makeup next week. I'm thinking about there might be a Friday video, but there might not. I'm still working on my Becca video. So yeah, What's Up in Makeup normal everything next week. Mad love to you. Have a wonderful week. And if you want to follow my Canada journey, that channel is Gen X Doing Things because I'm creative. JENX. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Mad love. Bye.